What's up, y'all? I'm back. I'm back. I got a good guy tonight joining us on this edition of my podcast. So, I know y'all remember Kelly on his interview I did with him a few weeks ago. Now I got another guy, Collins of mine, that we went to the same platoon, talking about his airborne experience and everything that go against, that he likes airborne and stuff like that, and his overall military experience for right now. So I'm about to bring him on. What's good, Colin?
Hey, how you doing, Wilson?
I'm good. I'm good. How you been?
Can't complain, can't complain. Always good.
Okay, so where you at? You home right now?
Yeah, I'm actually on leave, so I'm back in Ohio for right now.
Oh, for how long?
I'm here till the 15th, so another 9 days. So excuse the rugged appearance.
Hey, do it now before you can't do it no more, and you gotta keep shaving.
Exactly. I'm gonna enjoy it for a little bit.
You know you love it. Look at you. You're growing the beard back out. Your hair about to come back.
Exactly, man. Gotta get the
Yeah.
look back.
So now, okay, so basically, this is a little open, basic, and I ask you a couple of questions and things like that. And if you want to ask me questions at the end, you can. So basically, this is how I start off. Tell me about why did you join the military and why did you pick the army?
Okay. So why did I join the military? What was the second one?
And why did you pick the army out of all the branches?
Got you. All
And you
right.
got an echo in the background too.
Oh, I got you echoing. My bad. My bad.
You got headphones or anything? Earbuds?
Nah. This is. I don't normally live here. Ah, no. But I'll turn you down and I'll just lean in.
Okay.
So, all right. So I joined the military because I wanted to be in the military since I was about 5 years old. The military is something I've always wanted to do with my life, and I've always wanted to strive to protect those I care about and protect everyone in this country, no matter how I could do that. And the military is just the way that I chose to do that. I've tried a lot of jobs in my life, and they never really gave me that satisfaction that I wanted. And so, after great consideration, I decided to join the military at 24 years old. A little old to join, but I still made it through. I still passed, and I even passed jump school. So, anyone who thinks that you're too old to join, you're not.
Yeah, so see, that's my thing. I was just on the phone with my sister because I got the call from my sergeant telling me, since I only signed the 3 years, do I want to relist today? that phone call happened today, and I said, I get back with me tomorrow. So I had called the Air Force and the Navy, and the Air Force want me to go from E4 to E2, and the Navy want me to go from E4 to E3, and then I got to test in a year to become an E4.
Yeah, that doesn't sound worth it to me.
I know, right?
I'm not about that pay cut.
Me neither. So I was like, nah. The Air Force said, just because I'm in the same job, I could just, transition, just go straight through it, like pick up my uniform. It's the same uniform, a
Right.
different tags. And the Navy said I got to go to Chicago for 2 weeks. So that was it. So I'm like, I might have to stick it out and go after duty after my, time is up. But not about me, about you. So now that you said that, what was your determining factor to say, hey, I think the Army is the best branch for me, and why is it the best branch for you?
So actually, when I was younger, I wanted to be in the Marine Corps, and I wanted to be in the Marine Corps bad because my great grandfather was in the Marine Corps back in World War II. So I kind of wanted to keep the family tradition going. But as you know in person, and as they can see now, I'm littered in tattoos. And
It wouldn't take you with tattoos?
nope, the Marines were going to waive every tattoo except I have one little one that I tried to get removed on my thumb. And
And they
because
wouldn't take, well, so they'll take you, but they wouldn't take that one.
they want to take that one. So because of that one, the
Wow.
Marine recruiter tells me, he's like, well, listen, we can't take you because of your tats. So why don't you go try the Army or the Navy? I'm like, all right, sure.
No, the Navy, yeah, the Air Force might not take you with those tats. You probably could do it after.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to even take a risk with the Army to see if they would even take me. Went into my recruiter, and he's just like, "Hey, you know what? Screw the Marines." He's like, "I don't care about your tats," and I'm just like, "All right." So signed the paper, waited. Then I got to pick my job, and I chose a horizontal construction engineer, which is an engineering job that will actually guarantee me a job outside of the Army later on when I retire, because I plan on doing 20 years. So
That's good. That's good. So, are you going? Are you wait? Foremost, are you National Guard, Reserve, or active duty?
active duty right here, absolutely, all the way.
Oh, you like to rub it in. I see you.
I am 82nd.
Huh?
I said I am 82nd Airborne. That's all we know how to do.
Okay. So now, what was the process with the whole you from seeing a recruiter until it's almost time for you to go to mess? Like, how was that beginning process?
Well, because of my tattoos, I actually had to go through a waiver process to make sure that all of my tattoos were non-offensive and were okay to be in uniform. So because of that, I went from waiting at the recruitment station for hours to them saying, "Hey, why don't you go back home? We'll give you a call when your processing goes through." All right, yeah, sure. 2 months later, I finally get a call and say, "Hey, all your tattoos got approved." So it took me a while.
Why is it? I don't understand. Why did like? Well, from my experience in the military now, like everything is slow in the military.
Everything's slow, man. Everything's so slow, especially active duty. You kidding me? Everything's slow.
So, was you all right when you went to the recruiter? Because I already know you did the ASAP. Now that you were covering the ASAP, you passed that. Did you apply to have the airborne in your contract?
I did. So when I joined, I was actually very, very out of shape, and I knew the requirements to join Airborne. I knew I had to take a or I had to pass a PT test if I went in without it in my contract. I knew for a fact that at the state I was in when I joined, I would not have passed that PT test. So I told my recruiter, I said, "Listen, Airborne is a requirement for me. I want to be Airborne, and I need to be Airborne. So I need it in my contract, or else I'm not going to get it, and that's one of my main goals in the Army." He's just like, "All right, well, engineering jobs, I got a few engineering jobs, and these are the ones with Airborne. I saw it was on a construction engineer. I knew what it was. I knew what it got me out of the Army. So I was like, that one. I'm going to take that one." And that's the job that I got.
So, explain to me how does this airborne contract actually works?
Okay, so the Airborne contract, the only difference between me and people who volunteer for Airborne are they have to pass a specific requirement for their PT test. So what they have to pass is no matter what age they are, they have to pass the bare minimum of 18-year-old. They have to get 70, 70, 70 in all categories of the APFT, not the ACFT, the APFT. So they have to be able to do the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the run with a 70 score to be accepted for Airborne school.
So as no matter what age, the 18-year-old requirement.
For Airborne school, you have to be an 18-year-old requirement to pass. And when you're at Airborne school, that's the PT test is the 18-year-old requirement.
Okay, so the 18-year-old, I remember it's 45 push-ups regardless. How much was the run? It's like 15 minutes.
For 18-year-old is 15:52.
15 minutes. 50, yeah, I was close. 15
And I run my 2 mile about 12:30.
Oh, so you ain't worried about that. The push-ups, because my age range is 39, so it probably is about 50.
Yeah, the push-ups ain't fun.
Yeah, 50. Okay. So, all right. The question is, okay. So you had it in your contract. What if since I was active duty or National Guard, and I said to my unit, I want to go airborne. What would my pathway be?
So actually, if you're National Guard, it's a matter of state. So if your state has the extra funding to send a National Guard soldier to Airborne school, they absolutely can. But if your state is low on funding in that general area, they won't be able to send you guys that during that time. So when I was in Airborne school, I only had about 4 National Guard people, and the rest were active duty, and it was the active duty Marines and Air Force. That was the rest. That was my graduation class. Because
Air Force could go to airborne school?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter what branch you are. We had I had two people from what country was it? Ukraine. I had two people from Ukraine.
How does that work? Because that's okay. So like, because I know it's like joint bases and stuff like. So if I wanted to do an Air Force type of environment thing, I would. How would actually? That's how it works. How it all works.
So,
For me understanding.
so actually, it's all about just putting in a packet. When it comes to another branch and you joining airborne school in another branch, all you have to do is they have to put in a packet, and they then accept that packet because 9 times out of 10, your airborne looks very good for another branch. So if you're a Marine and you have airborne on you, you're held to a higher standard. So all they have to do is put in a packet, and it's real simple. For other branches, it happens within days. For active duty or National Guard,
Oh wow.
it can take weeks.
Hmm. Wow, that is something. I never knew that. I didn't know other branches could do other branches
Oh
too.
yeah.
Dang, that's nice. That is real nice to know. Okay, now how was the how was the process of okay, so what I was told is you get there right within the first day you take your PT test?
It's actually yeah. The first few days that you're there, you take your PT test.
And I already know you did anybody was eliminated from it on the first day?
From the first PT test, there was so what happens if you don't pass your PT test is you get a second go the next morning. Now, if you don't pass the next morning, you're out. You're not out forever, but you're kicked out of that graduation class.
Oh, you kicked out for that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you get to come back if you
You
want.
just gotta be a, so you basically have to be in PT shape and knowing that you passed the PT test, regardless to just waste people time and waste your time to do it.
Exactly.
Okay. So now that the PT test is over, tell me what's the day to day. It's 3 weeks. Well, before the 3 weeks, I so asked Kelly the same question. Are they going to convert over to the ACFT?
So Airborne is going to be doing its own variation of the PT test. So
Mm-hmm.
when I went through, I know Kelly's group that went through, they didn't have to do a PT test. My group was the last one that they were kind of playing with this new PT test. So what we had to do is we had to do a 2 mile run. We had to do our push-ups. We had to do at least 10 pull-ups. We had to do at least 30 sit-ups, and we had to do the leg tuck, at least 5 of them.
That don't seem too hard.
Not at all. It was
No.
easy.
Well, for the new variation of PT test, for the new variant of PT test, it really don't seem too hard. You
No,
said
because the standards are for the ACFT standards, not the APFT. The ACFT standards are easier to pass, they're harder to max.
okay, so somebody that had difficulties in PT and the APFT, they could pass the ACFT.
As well, the main thing, the main killer for people during the ACFT is the leg tucks. As long as you can do so to pass the bare minimum standard, you need to do one leg tuck. So as long as you can do one leg tuck, you'll pass. But I would suggest that anybody in the military or planning on going to the military, especially since they're doing the ACFT, is going to be the main PT test here. I would suggest being able to do at least 5 because as an engineer, I have to do 5 because I'm held to the combat level of the ACFT because my job is a combat arms job. So I would recommend at least being able to do 5, if not 10. I can knock out 15.
Okay, because I did a couple of AIT, and I was like, wow, okay, the PT test is a little bit easier, So I was like, all right,
Exactly.
cool. So the pull-ups, something that I have to work on myself because I've been watching the old movies on YouTube about the Airborne, first coming about, and I'm like, I want to do it, but I was like, if they're doing the APFT, I'm definitely not going to do it.
No,
But if they're doing the APFT, I'm definitely going to do it.
yeah, they're doing the ACFT, the variation, the weird airborne variation of the ACFT, which is still very easy to pass. Yeah.
So when does this new PT test for the airborne side command. Come on board.
We were guinea pigs. We were just so like even if you didn't pass it,
What you say?
you were able to continue airborne school right this moment because of COVID. So right now it's not supposed to kick in until after this pandemic ends.
So they are still doing the ACE PFT right
Right
now.
now they're not doing anything counting wise. So I was the last graduation class that took a PT test that counted. Kelly didn't have to take one because of COVID.
So if I wanted to go airborne school right now, I could go.
And you want to take a PT test?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a go-to.
I can't do it right now anyway because, like you said, depending on the funding and going through the proper channels. The next, 2 months from now, they say I could go. The next, I gotta take a PT. All right, let's get off the PT. I'm just frustrated with PT. All right, go into your week 1 to 3 after your PT testing on.
So actually, because of COVID, we were limited very much. So normally, when you're at airborne school, you are going to be working from after PT. You're going to be working from or training from 9 in the morning until about 1700 or 5 o'clock afternoon for civilian time. And once you are done training, you can leave. You can go to base, around base, you can go to bars, you can go to the mall, you can go chill with friends if they live on base and have houses. They don't care what you do. As long as you show up for next PT formation, that's all.
Yeah.
That's normally how it works. You can order food, you can go wear civilians. However, I went when we had this lovely pandemic that exists at this current time. So we weren't allowed to leave the barracks. We weren't allowed to order food. We weren't even allowed to wear civilians. We had to go to the chow hall and bring chow outside and eat outside on the park. And if it was raining or storming, didn't matter. Still had to eat outside.
Wow, you shit out of luck.
Hey, it is the Army.
So essentially, what was week 1 like?
So week 1 is your ground week, which is where you train landing, you train how to rig the parachute, you train how to wear it correctly in the harness, and you finally get to look at the tower, but you don't get to go up it. So you get to look at the jump tower, excuse me, where you practice jumping. But that whole week is dedicated to you practicing landing, because 90% of airborne school, to do it right, is landing correctly.
Okay.
And then, so that week flies by. That week is, training, you go from about 9 in the morning, and then you have lunch, which is an awesome MRE lunch. You have it at 12 o'clock, goes until 1, then you're there until 1600, then you walk back. Wow. And it's a long, long walk.
So is it true that they told me that y'all run everywhere y'all go?
Everywhere, even in COVID, even wearing masks, you run everywhere. Doesn't matter if you're going 10 feet that way, you better run there. You run to the latrine, you run to your helmet, you run to your parachute.
Wow, God, man. Like, I heard that being an airborne is like being a part of cream of the crop now. That and being on the level of the drill sergeant school. So that means since you're airborne, you got it over your peers, right?
So being airborne, especially in my unit, I'm in the 82nd Airborne, which is a very well-known airborne unit, and we're held to a higher standard than a traditional soldier. Now, in my opinion, doesn't make me better than any soldier. There's hundreds of legs, thousands of legs, which is just what we call people without airborne status. There's thousands of people without airborne status that are way better at PT than me, a way better soldier than me. I'm a pretty good soldier, but I know there's people that are better than me. Me having airborne in my contract, me being an airborne soldier doesn't make me better than anyone else. All it means is that I'm stupid enough to jump out of a perfectly fine airplane. An extra $75 a paycheck. That's all that matters.
It's only $175?
It's only $75 extra each paycheck.
Wow. That's like almost the taxes coming right out. You get it back, basically. Well, okay, it's all good because you get status. I suggest that you already in Fort Bragg. That's your duty station, correct?
Yeah, I actually was in before I went to Airborne school because I graduated AIT in March,
Mm-hmm.
but because of COVID, they held us. And I sat there for 2 months doing nothing and just cleaning like the barracks
Yeah.
every day and doing absolutely nothing. I sat there for 2 months. Then after 2 months, they're like, hey, so Airborne school isn't taking people. So we're going to send you to your unit. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, my unit's in Alaska. Awesome. Yeah, no, we're not sending you to Alaska. That's considered overseas. Okay.
Well, yes. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, where am I going? They're like, Fort Bragg. I'm like,
All right.
all right. So I went to Fort Bragg,
Anyway.
and I stayed there until Airborne school, which just happened 4 weeks ago now. I just got back.
Wait,
So
so Airborne School is in Fort Bragg or is it in Georgia?
it is in Fort Benning, Georgia. And let me tell you, I have been to Fort Jackson, I have been to Fort Leonard Wood, I have been to Fort Bragg, and I've been to Fort Benning. I would go to any of them, and stay there for years, then go to Benning one more week.
Why Bennett sucks that bad? I bet everybody keeps saying it.
Okay, you would be standing in formation for 5 minutes, and your uniform is soaked in sweat.
Wow.
It is 107 degrees on a cool day.
So what month do you suggest going to Airborne School?
Now, the heat sucks, but winter sucks worse because, yes, you can wear all the cold weather gear that you want. Nobody's going to stop you. But when you jump out of a plane in cold temperature, you actually have less resistance from the air because the air is thinner because of the cold weather. So you hit the ground harder.
Ooh.
And you already hit the ground pretty hard when I went. So if I were to give a suggestion to anybody going, try to go in the summer. The heat's going to suck, but just make sure that you bring enough detergent and stuff like that to wash your uniform every day. I wash my uniform every day. It's 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks. It's not. I can deal with the heat for 3 weeks, especially since on the weekends all I have to do is sit inside.
Okay. So how was week 2?
So week 2 is Tower Week, and Tower Week, in my opinion, is fun as hell. So Tower Week is you climb up a 40-foot tower with all your gear on, and they hook you up to a system that it's a mock parachute pull. So you jump out of this tower with nothing but that cord. So it's hooked up to your harness and everything. So when you jump, you just fall and you get yanked up by it like the parachute would yank you. So it gives you that similar feeling, and you just practice doing that correctly. The cord, however, it has a tendency to cut you because when you're doing the tower, the cord comes up and goes to your face.
Hey, you got a nice shave though. You get a shave.
You get a shave, but also I saw a girl get half of her ear cut off.
No.
Oh yeah, she went and got stitches and everything. It cut up to here.
Wow.
And that world goes fast, but don't let it scare you. It happens quite often, but it's nothing to shy you away from Airborne School. Because when you actually jump out of the plane, you don't deal with that. You deal with that for 5 days. That's all you got to deal with it for. So it's not that bad. Because on the weekends you're off. So it's just Monday through Friday. Just 5 days. I can deal with getting my ears cut a little bit for 5 days.
Okay, 5 days. So basically you just preparing, training, and stuff
Yep.
for it. Because I've been seeing people on my Snapchat, and Kelly just went and he just graduated recently. I gotta get.
I know, congrats. He's did great. I'm really proud of him.
Yes, and I'm actually thinking about doing it also, but I'm gonna give my time, 2 years to prepare myself. Even though seems like I need 2 years, but because of COVID going on right now, I'm like, yeah, let me just hold up on it for a little.
I don't know, man. I would go doing it because it's pretty chill.
Well, I'm National Guard, and like I said, I don't want to wait and stuff. And then once my contract ends, I want to, go active duty regardless.
Exactly. I apologize. I'm actually getting getting asked questions by my sergeant, so I'm just trying to answer them real quick.
Oh, what happened? What you done do? Forgot to
I
paddle.
didn't do nothing.
All right, so I'll let you do that. But last week, what's your last week like at Airborne?
So last week is that is the week that you get to jump out of the airplane. Everyone's favorite week, the scariest week. I was flying all through jump school. Then they told me that I'm gonna jump out of an airplane.
Did anybody like quit or didn't want to do it? Did you
Absolutely.
see
You have people go through it both the first and second week completely fine. They get put in that harness and they say, I don't want to go. No. So we call them black caps or black hats. They wear black hats, the Sergeant Airbornes. Oh, did my video die?
No, you sure? Go ahead.
Okay. So we call them black caps, and no black cap will stop you. If you say you are done and you will not jump and you don't want to, they'll just say okay and go back to the barracks, and we'll figure out what we're going to do with you from there. Now, don't get it twisted though. For those people that want to join, do not get up on that plane. If you are 100% on quitting, I would suggest not to. But if you are 100% mindset on quitting, do not quit up on the plane. You quit on the ground. If you quit on the plane, you will get an Article 15. You will get promoted, and you will possibly get dishonorably discharged.
For real?
Absolutely. I say it is 3 weeks. It is 5 jumps out of an airplane. As long as you do what they teach you and do what you are told, you will have safe jumps. It's not hard. I have a funny story about the first jump, though. So, my first jump out of the airplane, I went through all my training, completely fine, I was not nervous, nothing. And they're counting down the group of people on the plane, and they point to me, and they're like, Airborne, you're going to be the first jumper on the next iteration. What? No, I'm not okay with that. I'm fine with jumping, I'm not okay with being the first. So I get up, I shuffle over to the door, hook up, my heart's pounding, I'm breathing heavy, I stand at that door, I look outside. And I'm looking down 1,200 feet. And I'm just like, and that's when I start thinking. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And the safety that's next to me that I hand my static line to, he looks at me and it's his sergeant. And he's like, hey, Airborne. He reaches over, pats me on the shoulder. He's like, you're going to be okay. I promise. He's like, I see it in your face, but you're going to be okay. I'm just like, all right, Sergeant. And they say,
I'd rather be the first guinea pig. I'd rather be the third or the last, but not the first.
That's the thing, is that on the other jumps, I was behind people. It's so easy just to stare at the person in front of you and just move with them. But when you're the first one, you're the person that they wait on.
Wow. I know you was shitting bricks for that.
Oh, dude. I'm looking out, and so they start counting down, and then they say, green light, go. I hear green light go. You don't move until they smack your fourth point of contact, which is your ass. They smack it to tell you to go. So you don't move until you feel that hand on your ass. It's so weird though because they do it all through your training. They'll always say green light go and then smack you, even when you're at the towers, even when you're on ground week. So your mind gets used to jumping on that feeling. So I'm nervous as hell. I'm sitting there staring out the window, staring out the door, just looking how high I am. He says, green light go, hits my ass, and I just jumped. No thought, nothing. Just my body just moved. And I'm just like, oh, well, now I'm in the air. Yeah. And it was fine. The moment you are in that air, all stress, all panic is just gone.
How long were you in the air for when you jumped out the plane?
What's up?
How long are you in the air before you jump out the plane?
So you are in the air for about 10 minutes. It's not long. So you go up 10 minutes, then they tell you to jump. And when you tell them to jump, you will jump. Within 6 seconds, your parachute will open. If your parachute doesn't open in 6 seconds, you better be pulling that reserve. If you do not feel that yank, pull your reserve. But then it only takes you 35 seconds to go from that parachute to the ground. You still hit the ground going about 25 miles an hour. It doesn't feel too good.
So let's backtrack a little bit. I wanted to ask you about this Article 15 you said.
Okay.
So if you go in the plane, you was good, you was doing everything perfectly. You go on the plane and you freak out. You just freak out.
Yep.
You are basically getting kicked out at the Army.
So what happens is if you are at the door and you go like, let's say I'm standing at the door and I go like this, like, no, I'm not moving. The sergeant airborne will smack you, like they'll do the 5th point of contact and smack you on your ass, and they'll be like, airborne jump. Nope, not gonna do it. Airborne jump. Not gonna do it. One more time. Airborne jump. They'll smack you one more time. If you go 3 smacks and you do not jump, that safety grabs you, says sit down. He sits you in a chair, says cover your reserve, because you always have to have a hand on your reserve parachute on the ripcord. So he said cover your reserve. Don't move. That is a lawful order. Do not move. Doesn't matter what your rank is, doesn't matter what your status is in the Army. You can be a captain, and that sergeant will tell you do not move. And if you move, you will you will face criminal charges. So they give
What type of criminal charges?
What's up?
What type of criminal charges?
Refusal to train and endangerment of you, your cadre, and your fellow soldiers.
Wow.
It's a legitimate charge. Like, it's bad.
So E6 could tell a 03, that. Oh, wow.
And when you are at airborne school, it does not matter what your rank is. So anybody going to airborne school thinking that, oh, I'm a captain or I'm a lieutenant, they can't tell me what to do. You're absolutely wrong. You're going to be treated like a trainee in basic training. Not as bad, but you will be treated in that mentality. All of you are the same. All of you are airborne. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, male, female, or an officer or an enlisted. It doesn't matter what you are. All of you are airborne, and they don't care what you are.
So, oh, wow, that just blew my mind. Okay, refusal to train. Got it. So, did you have to do any night jumps?
I did too.
How was the night jumps? You probably did 3 regular day jumps and 2 night jumps.
Yeah, so normally you do 4 day jumps and 1 night jump, but we had a weird sergeant who liked night jumps, so we did 2 of them. Okay. Night jumps are so fun. In my opinion, I love it because you jump out and there's just nothing. It feels like you're floating in a void. Like you don't see anything except for dots of lights. That's it. You can look up and see the stars if you're lucky and jump on a day that isn't cloudy, but both of the days I jumped were just after storms, so it was nothing but clouds. So it was just, you jumped out and you were in pure blackness.
So explain to me how the graduation ceremony was for you when you got your wings.
So what it is at least during COVID, because normally it's really cool. So how normal airborne graduation works is your family, your parents, your wife or husband, and your kids can come out to the field and watch your last jump.
Oh,
You'll
really?
jump out of the airplane for them to see. You'll land. You'll go to the graduation podium, and they will then put your wings on in front of your family. It's so cool. It's supposed to be really cool, but during COVID. Don't have it on base. So, unfortunately, because for me, I have a girlfriend who has 3 kids, so I view them as my kids, and I treat them like my kids. So, unfortunately, they didn't get to come and see me. But what happens is you jump out of the plane, you get everything packed up, then you go back to the company. You all stand on the wires, which is a cable that just runs outside of the company where everyone stands. And your sergeant airborne will come up, hand you your wings, you hold them out like this, then the other sergeant airborne will come by, grab them, pin them on, shake your hand, say congratulations airborne, you have completed your 5 jumps, and you have met all the requirements that it takes to be an airborne soldier.
Okay. So now that's over. You got your wings and stuff. From why was it? If you know, why was the airborne changed from North Carolina to Georgia, and you got to go back to North Carolina for your unit?
So, well, being at North Carolina in Bragg, I actually know from just what my NCOs have told me. When it was at Bragg, there was actually a number of people that got injured, and they decided to close it down because the wind and stuff at Bragg is really strong, being in North Carolina, and it causes injury. Apparently, that's at least what I've been told.
Because I was watching the old movies, they was always at okay, I didn't know why. Okay, now I know why. So now that you was in Georgia, you was bused or you was playing back to North Carolina?
Yep, we were bused. So it is a 8.5 hour bus ride, and it is not the most fun bus ride in the world. I would suggest sleeping, but that's what I did.
So now that you at North Carolina, how was your extravagant unit? How is it?
So, like I said, I was at my unit before I left. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I was at my unit before I left for Benning and before I left for Airborne school, so I got to know my unit before I left. So, but either way, being in an airborne unit is great. You're held to a standard that is above, like it's above other soldiers, but in my opinion, we're all the same. Just the way I look at things. But you know, your commanding officers and your NCOs and everyone on base look at you differently. Not in a bad way. They just look at you like they expect more out of you.
Yeah.
So when you're in uniform, when you're wearing your beret and you're wearing those wings, you have to be on your best behavior. You are setting an example for if one airborne acts up, like if one airborne starts a fight in the barracks, all airbornes, it's all your fault. Yeah. You are all fighters, drunks, you all get pinned under that because we're supposed to be on that higher standard because we volunteered for it or we had it in our contract. So, but life at Bragg is great. It's personally, I couldn't ask for a better base that I'm on. I love Bragg. I love the area that it's in.
I see a cat in the back in the cut.
Give me.
Yeah, I see. You're gonna have the animals lovers in here. So
my husky's gone somewhere.
After Bragg, are you actually? How long of a contract you have?
So I have a 4-year contract. I plan on re-enlisting though the moment I'm able to, because I plan on retiring from the Army. So I plan on doing.
You want to do the 20? Okay. Now, second question is: are you going to officer route or you want to stay the enlisted route?
So what I'm doing, my whole plan is, I already got one part of my plan done, and that was go to Airborne school and graduate.
That's good. You've done that.
So after Airborne school, my next plan is when I turn E4, and I'm going to Sapper school.
What's Sapper?
Sapper school is the engineering school. It's actually the hardest school in the United States Army.
What?
It's only 30 days, but it is the hardest, viewed as the hardest. It's viewed harder than Ranger school.
Wow. What is that? What is it?
So Sapper school is all about testing. The way to get into it is being an engineer. That's the easiest way into it. But it is all about survival training in the wilderness, learning how to do knots and demo charges, learning how to like be the best soldier you can be, because the PT test is incredibly hard. It's its own beast. Beast mode. I just thought about that. It's its own beast, though, and it's its own level of difficulty. But there's a point in Sapper school where you're in the wilderness for a week with 2 MREs, and you either got to pay for your food or you got to make those 2 MREs last.
You lying? For real?
Straight up.
You got to survive off the land type deal.
It's something I've always wanted to do. So after and I know for a fact, me mentally and me physically, I'm going to be able to pass it when I become an E4. Actually, when I get back to Bragg here when I get back in after my leave, I actually get my promotion, so I'll be in E3 when I get back. So that's kind of cool.
So, do you recommend who do you recommend Airborne School for?
Everyone, everyone in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
It is the easiest school to pass.
Mm-hmm.
It's the easiest school to go to. It's the easiest school to get accepted to. Everyone can pass it. It is a mental thing. You can go and you can pass. All you have to do is run. That's the hardest part. Just run and just have the mental state to jump out of a plane. It sounds harder than it is because, like I said, they mentally train you so bad or like so far that like I said, I was frozen in that door, but I felt that hand on like hit my side and I jumped. No thought, nothing. Just I was trained so well to when I feel that jump. Cat, stay down.
Yeah, because that's what, like I told you before. That's I'm thinking about that. So just gotta be better at PT. And go active duty. But yeah. So you're not going the officer route, right?
So after I graduate SAPR school and become a sergeant later on, I plan on going to drill sergeant academy. And after I do that, I want to be a drill sergeant for a while. The moment my drill sergeant contract ends, I am going green to gold and becoming an officer.
Okay. So do you have your 4 year degree, or you plan on getting one?
I'm actually in school right now for sorry, I'm trying not to get attacked by this cat. I apologize. I'm actually in school right now for I'm gonna take psychology.
Okay. Green to gold. Explain to me what was green to gold.
So Green to Gold is a program that is for enlisted soldiers to use the military to get a degree and then use that degree to become an officer. So you skip Bullock or West Point, you don't have to go to that. You just have to get your degree. You go through a like week or two of leadership training, and then you're an officer.
Okay. So as long as you got your degree, like as long as you got your degree, you go to green to gold, right?
Yeah,
Or you have to have
exactly. As long as you
already.
have a degree and you have a good head on your shoulders and you haven't done anything to screw up.
Yeah, because I was talking to somebody about that today, about either doing ROTC, OCS, or green to gold, but I was looking at the ROTC program. It's like I'm still going to school and doing it at the same time. The OCS is 12 weeks, and then I could just get my degree on my own, do what I'm doing, then put in a packet to go green to gold.
Yeah,
I would rather put in the packet to go green to gold because I don't want to go be back in college again. I want to do it on my time. And then they said OCS is like doing basic training all over again.
exactly. And that's something I don't want to go through again.
Yeah, I don't want to put that on myself. So I just
Hey,
I'm getting.
every PT test. I was right beside you. You know that.
Hey, I'm trying to get more ass on here. He be feeling around. I want to tell him about the PT test, about my progression from like that 35 minutes all the way up to that 17 minutes with Bogdan, man.
Absolutely. I was one of those guys that was right beside you
I
running.
know you was you, more Bogdan. I know Kelly was here.
Oh yeah, Kelly was with everyone.
Yeah. So all right. So any questions before for me since we winding down?
I would like to just ask how are things on your side, National Guard wise?
Uh, well, it's kind of National Guardish, but should have
Yeah.
went active duty. But that's here or there. But hey, good news is I'm going to take the fast class in October to get a better ASVAB. So
Okay.
that
There you go.
uh, like I said earlier today, I was told about re-signing my contract today, but I was like, let me see what the Army and Navy, I mean the Navy and the Air Force was saying.
Right.
I might have to consider just re-enlisting with the Army, but not
That's what I
as
would say.
a guard. So that's what I'm going to tell them tomorrow.
I'd say
And
stay Army, man. Don't lose that rank.
I don't want to, man. Why the hell would I go from an E4 to E2?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And I want to be an officer. I don't know the other branches, but my only regret about no, my only going to be regret is because I wanted to do Air Force from like my early days is I'm not going to be able to get the chance to live up to my dream and do the Air Force. But I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to hunker down. I'll just have one of my kids do it and tell me how the Air Force was and go on the base with them.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Trade off. That's the trade off, you know.
Exactly.
So, any kids for you?
Like I said, my girlfriend has 3 of them, and I raised them as my own. Me and her are talking about having our own, but I just am sticking with my 3 at the moment.
Okay, so you say you're going to drill sergeant school. You ready? You are going to basic training again, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It's only
Every
8 weeks this time.
every 12 weeks you go to basic training.
Hey, you know what? At least I don't get my hair taken away this time.
Oh yeah, okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate it for taking your time out your busy schedule.
Absolutely.
Come aboard, talk about Airborne because that's what I was focused on learning about. And now that you said that they're going to go to a new PT test, that's give me some hopeful insight on actually going the Air Force route.
Yeah,
Air Force,
absolutely.
Airborne route. And Air Force has been on my mind. But that's really good. That's really good to think about now. And can you explain last time the new PT test for airborne only, not the regular army?
Airborne only PT test is a 2.5 mile run. It is push-ups. It is pull-ups, leg tuck, and less sit-ups.
You still gotta do sit ups still?
Yeah, only 20.
Okay, that's nothing. 20 sit
Yeah.
ups.
The thing that kills
Is it
people
MOS
is the leg
specific?
tucks.
Is it MOS specific or do they got their own standard?
It's their own standard. So the leg tucks, it's a minimum of 3.
Okay, that's nothing. I did 2. I can do 3. All
Yeah.
right, what about the 2 mile run?
The 2 mile run you have to be, or the 2.5 mile run you have to be able to do in the standard of, I believe the minimum was 17:30.
Okay, 17:30. Because the 21 is okay. Well, they are the heavy standards, basically.
Yes.
Oh, they the basic or heavy standards. Okay. Put you said sit up 20, push ups how many?
Push-ups, you still have to do 40, 45?
You got to do 45 push ups.
Or 40, yeah, 45, 45.
Okay, well, okay. All right. And last question. Anything for me that you want to know before we close out?
I think I'm all good, man. It's nice talking to you, though.
Me too, man. It's been a while. We got it
Yeah.
going. And here we go again, man. So I'm trying to get more on here because he has an interesting story of, helping me and everything like that, just like you and Kelly and everything like that. So
Yeah.
that's I want to tell that story because that's the old untold story that we barely everybody know about me. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Wow, Collins is a good dude right there. There you go, man. A lot about airborne for your airborne people that has airborne in contract or don't have airborne in the contract and want it. Take heat from Collins. I put his Snapchat in the description and join the Discord just in case you want to talk to him about anything airborne related. Kelly also he just graduated from airborne school. I think today or a couple of weeks. Yeah, I think it was today. And Collins graduated like a couple of weeks ago. So you got 2 people from airborne school that they know they're talking about. So with that being said, I'm gonna close out. Happy evening, morning, and good night to on your side of the town.